pleasure now to introduce on stage Eezan again from MFFC, Amman Shah of Dubai Holding, and Majd Hamamouchi of Time Hotels. So, again, vision is all and lovely, but as we all know, vision doesn't necessarily make you an ROI. So let's talk about investment. Let's talk about money. I think the projects that you just saw, which I think are the first foray of the Maldivian government into the investment space as a partner and a asset manager, are really interesting. So today we have Amman from Dubai Holding and Majd from Time Hotels. So we touched a bit on the Hankaday mid-market project, but Majd, I know that Time is signing 2 properties, I believe, in Hankaday. I guess 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been a destination that you guys would have considered within your portfolio. What's changed? What looks different? Why is this exciting, and why are you jumping into the Maldives?
I think everyone wants to jump in Maldives. That's number one. So thank you for having me, Ben, and Shahul, and also our friend from Dubai Holding. So no, when I met Shahul the first time with his team in Riyadh, was exciting because it was a nice story behind. We met in the lift. It was the last day of FHS Riyadh, and we were going, and then we said, "Oh, let's talk business." Then we start talking, and we found chemistry. It's all about chemistry, and that's how we found some things in common. And what I like in the Hankaday project, when he starts pitching me about it, is the new repositioning strategy, because we are moving from the concept of one island, one hotel, one assets, to a new concept which I call something for everyone. It's beautiful, something for everyone, where everyone can enjoy the beauty of Maldives. And for us, we are targeting, number one, the government will increase the bed capacity. That's number one. We are going to mid-scale and upper mid-scale and lifestyle product, and they are diversifying the product. So tourism offering. So this is very exciting for us because we found ourselves into that component, diversification, mid-scale, lifestyle, and creating something for everyone. I think it's very relevant for us.
Thank you. Amman, Dubai Holding, and as I understand it, your portfolio touches on many different things. Yeah, I once had to sit down with the CEO of a tech company, and I said, and they were very excited. They went, "We're revolutionizing this sector. It's going to be amazing." And I said, well, when you talk to investors, the CEO might be super excited, but fundamentally, you then have to get it through the CIO and the lawyers. And they need to know why they're going to make them more money than toilet roll, because it's got to be a good investment. It's got to make sense. So when you, from where you sit, look at hospitality assets in general and hospitality assets in the Maldives, does this look like a good bet? Like, should we all be getting into a different sector? Is this all going to go pop?
So I think that's a very interesting way to coin the question. Look, from our perspective, when we think about, and I'm going to be specific to the Maldives a little bit, and when we think about investing in the Maldives, you have to look at, obviously, financial merit. So one key component of any investment thesis should be, is it financially sound, right? And the other side of that is strategic merit. Like, is there a strategic value in what you're creating? So when we look at the Maldives, you look at, from a brand perspective, is it the right place? Especially if you're an ultra-luxury brand. Is it the right destination? Is it the right market? And I think that has been validated time and again by the number of different brands in the ultra-luxury segment that play a part and are present in the Maldives, like Jumeirah, for example, or like Cheval, like the Waldorf. And other brands that are aspiring to be there, like the Baccarats of the world and the Bulgaris of the world. So from a brand perspective, is it a tick? Probably. Let's say yes. And then when you look at, then what about positioning? Are you getting the right, you use the word ADR, are you getting the right ADR in the market? And I mean, if you look at numbers from last year, and I was reading a report, 3,000 plus dollars ADR on average in the ultra luxury segment, that is quite special. And if you look at and if you were to sort of further dissect that, the top end of that could go as much as $5,000 a night. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's twice as much as potentially any North American market today, right? So from a positioning ADR perspective, do we think it's a sound investment? Probably yes. The answer is probably yes. And then you come down to something that's very interesting when you look at investing in general. Are you sort of riding sort of the underwrite at exit? So is it just pricing? Is it pricing at entry and pricing at exit? Or is it that can you actually yield something along the way? And a lot of the times, hospitality investments, and I've seen this, is you look at getting the best price up front, and you sort of make a case of a beautiful exit at the end, and that's how you will see your return. I think Maldives is unique in that. It offers you exceptional yield along the way. If you price it correctly at the start, the yield that you can get on your investment, because the hotels perform, and we talk about brand, and we talk about positioning, and if you sort of tie that all in together, then you see a very successful sort of financial merit discussion and a financial strategic merit discussion. So it really well sort of ties well together.
I think it is a very unique environment, and I think not only North America, but I think looking at hotel numbers in Europe, in lots of other places, it really is a huge challenge. I think coming back to what I think we touched on briefly, which is branded residences, very much the topic du jour. When you're starting to look at that as something that you might be looking at later with time hotels, what the government might be looking at when it comes to these residency pieces, how does that start affecting your investment play? I mean, for time, was this something that you started to look at and think about as your long-term strategy in the Maldives with the branded residences?
So, good question, Ben. So as time hotels, our core business is hotel management. But the brand resi, especially when you find new brand, lifestyle brand, mixed to fashion brand, I think that's Karl Lagerfeld or other brand are here to pitch and to discuss this topic, because topic of du jour, as you said, is brand resi. For the moment, we're gonna start with the hotel management, pure management, but branded resi is definitely something we can look at it, because if you see the figures of Maldives, so there is need for all the components. There is need for, we have resorts. But they have only 13 hotels, and there is gap, and we need to fill in this gap and to go further and to manage to build more hotels. And the projects of Hankedi, which is unique projects for us, because in one place they have many activities and many facilities. You can do the water park, you can do other activities, and this will help, from my point of view, to increase the length of stay. Very important. This is a very important point. To increase the average spend, very important, and to open door for new source market. And that's why we, as Time Hotels, well established in the Middle East, we are growing to Africa. We go to that region with the help of MFFMC and Shahul and the whole team to go there and to bring our expertise to the market.
So, Eezan, obviously in our region here, branded residencies are becoming interesting, and residency in general is becoming interesting.
Yeah.
When you guys sat down and started to think about how this was going to go, what made you start thinking about this? Because we're seeing Europe close a lot of its residency schemes. Greece has just increased its residency by investment level from 250,000 euros to 800,000 euros. There's a lot of shifting in that market, and you've decided to come in quite late to the party. What was the impetus for that?
I think we started thinking about it late last year with the new government in place. I mean, obviously there was thought in the private sector, different segments of the government about how we can do it. But I think we really took massive strides over the last 9 months, and I think we brought a good balance for our residency program. I think Hankede with that mid-market lifestyle, something that competes with other markets in terms of pricing. But at the same time, Gafaru, where we're reclaiming 14 private islands, and then each one is classified as a real estate, so it's a private island residence. So I think we were hitting both segments in this market where it's ideal. It's a slice of paradise or an ultimate trophy asset for the highest net worth in Gafar. At the same time, it's in the region where anyone who's considering other parts of the world to come to Hankedé and buy a property in Hankedé as well. And then for the first time in Hankedé, we're actually doing apartments as well. So I think we've done a good balance between the two products, and I think we can officially come out with a program through government within the next quarter. So I think stay tuned. I think it'll be exciting. I think we'll probably announce it in a big way and see where it lands.
So I guess driving on that, but also talking about these new hospitality assets, let's talk about source markets. Now, as a white Western Northern European, we used to be very fashionable and what everybody wanted to have. I think we're maybe a little dated these days and not the best option. So, in Maldives last year, I believe that the largest incoming growth demographic was China. So when we're looking at source markets, India, China, big growth markets, how does this start to shape the picture? Amman, from your perspective, when you look at it as investment, does that growth, especially looking, I believe we've got 3,000 new ultra-luxury keys entering in the Maldives over the next few years, how does that change the picture?
So I think, and some of this sort of, was said in the sort of earlier session. I think if you look at where the year will finish for the Maldives in terms of potential arrivals, it's sort of touching that 2.5 million mark, and how sort of all this added airlift capacity and it's growing. If sort of that number is doubling by 2028 or 2029, 2030, so that number is doubling. I think to say that 3,000 more keys at the upper end luxury segment, that will probably still not be sufficient. I think the demand will outpace the supply in that segment. So I think there is insatiable demand for the ultra luxury product. There is demand from brand owners, developers, especially I think you guys touched on this just now around the sort of branded resi component. And I think that will bring a different type of investor to the market. You will see a lot more development happening where people will feel that they have liquidity up front that can help them unlock potential investment routes. So I think all in all to say that I think 3,000, given the current pace of growth in the arrivals and the demand for Maldives as a destination, there will be sufficient demand for the supply that's coming on, and probably there will be demand for more supply going forward.
Majd, when you're looking at it in the kind of the mid-market segment, obviously you've got a huge footprint here in the GCC. Who's going to be coming to your hotels? Are we looking at new markets that maybe you haven't tapped into before, or do you really think we have enough appetite in our home market here to be able to fill your Maldives properties from the GCC?
I think both, because as Time Hotels and with the contribution, the help of the airport authority and other partners, if you look at the numbers, 2022 from Saudi markets only represent 3%, 34,000 arrival. There is more way to go. And the UAE 5%. So we have hotels in Middle East, and we will promote, we will help to try to get everyone going there, because those markets are very good markets on the top of the Indian markets and Russian markets, but also Chinese markets, and which is top tier market. So for us, it's very important to go to the message with Maldives. It's accessible to everyone, and proximity from Dubai to Maldives. It's not so far. I never tried the flights yet, but I will do it soon. So no, but it's important to source new source markets, and to go there.
Thanks. So maybe I know we're coming a bit close to time, but I feel so many of these panels I sit on or I listen to, and the picture that's painted is always so rosy. And I think when you're looking at it from an investment perspective, we're looking at realism, not necessarily concept. So, Eezan, I know this has been, in certain aspects of the Maldives, a tricky year from the economic side. But certainly, I think what we're seeing here is that this is a bit of a unique situation that not many other countries are in. that whilst there might be some economic challenges going in at the national level, the investment appetite seems to be consistent and remaining. And I think we've seen other countries that have hit some economic bumps, and that's really collapsed the hospitality market and the investment market. This doesn't seem to be the case here. How do you see that? And as you move forward as a fund manager, but also as a government, what does that look like?
I think, it is unique. It is interesting. I think, we are facing some economic challenges, but hospitality seems to be growing at a fast and steady pace. I think we've pretty much overcome all the numbers from last year. We're doing better and better each and every year. And then from a government perspective, I think what we're doing is so unique that it's good to put it in safe hands with MFMC and then collaborate with everyone else and to get these forward. And I think Amman was absolutely right. I think even as soon as next year when the airport is open, we'll have, for the first time, more demand than supply. I think we should start building now and immediately. So I think it'll be exciting. Before I wrap up, I just want to give a quick shout out to the bench for the amazing start to this event. I hope we lived up to your expectations at the first country session. Appreciation to our managing director. It's his leadership and vision that's driving us. And last but not least, to my team, our team at MFMC. Without them, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't change them for the world.
I think maybe just to quickly wrap up with our panelists. Amman, I think, having done a quick and dirty top-level investment analysis on the Maldives, you seem to be coming out quite bullish. As you look forwards, the hurdles that are coming ahead, what do you think needs to be addressed to maintain that trajectory and make sure this is still something that the global investment community should be thinking about seriously?
Sustainable, yeah. So I think, so first of all, I think I have to, and this is just sort of, my personal view, and I have to sort of commend the people of the Maldives and the government of the Maldives to have brought the nation from 500,000 visitors in 2000s to now 2.5 million visitors per annum alone in 2024. So there's a very sort of strong growth journey there, and a lot of that is sort of supplemented by investment in core infrastructure, right? Investment in partnerships and fostering growth. And having a very clear guideline on investment policy and ownership is very important. You need to feel comfortable as you invest, that you have clear guidelines on what your investment means and what does ownership look like, right? And I think as we move forward, you have to double down on that. You have to make it even clearer. I think with this sort of residential program that's coming, that will provide even more clarity and more pockets of liquidity for the growth for the growth of the country. But I think some of the stuff that we've talked about today with respect to providing more airlift, creating more ports. I think the supply chain is critical as you grow. These ports need to be sort of fully manned, developed. I think that if we double down on all these initiatives and continue sort of providing the impetus that the government of Maldives has been, I think there is no reason to say that this growth will not continue in a sustainable way. And that sort of supplements my original hypothesis on the whole yield, ADR, and brand.
Thank you. Majd, what do we need to make sure to keep the seaplane in the air?
No, just deliver good service. That's important, and deliver what we promise. We as operator or any other partner, and for us, Hankide is this beautiful message where something for everyone. I loved it, and I think we're gonna do it.
Thank you so much to the panel. I think what we've learned here today is Maldives is more than just a villa over the ocean. It's not what you think, and we look forward to, I think, Eezan, seeing a lot more interesting work from you and your team, and inshallah we'll be here next year and be talking about how all of these projects have been a success. So please join me in thanking the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.